Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, one of your hosts, and we have Eric here today, too. And we're going to get into the disclaimer here because we know YouTube and Facebook just love it when we talk all about our stuff that we talk about, and they try to censor it. So let's get into it. This channel, Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange's podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for the sole purposes of informing you, the viewing family, of information for criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, researching, and parody, and general knowledge only. Plus, let's not forget the entertainment value. Per Section 17 under subsection 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the Fair Use. All right, let me get that off of there. I'm going to put one up here in a while, but of this thing that Eric and I were talking about backstage. And this is something that I did a show on way back, probably about 2 years ago. So this picture's pretty old. To be a very, very strange, unknown type animal. And I was informed by the individual that took this picture, who is a scientist, by the way, a biologist and a scientist. He does well, I mean, he's working right in cryptid, engineering and all that. So he told me that this photograph was exactly what it is. It is a two-headed griffin, is what he called it. And like I said, this is probably, let's see, when did I do that post? I did that post and a podcast on it back in 21. I think it was 2021. We're talking over 4 years, almost 4 years now, almost. So it is an older picture, so it's not AI generated per second on my program, and I couldn't find anything fake about it, other than the fact that it looks like a large male lion. Okay, now when I looked at why did they unalive it, a little twisted. What they did is, I don't know if you see the gentleman standing there in the white robe. He is what they call an exorcist priest from the Catholic Church. Now, ask yourself, why would a Catholic priest who does exorcisms be at a location in Africa giving a last rites over basically a dead mythological creature? I asked myself that. And I've been asking myself that for probably the better part of 3 years, everybody. Um, this photograph is out of my secret archives, my files that I have. And I don't talk about these very much, but I wanted to divulge into all the mystical type of cryptids and stuff we're seeing, and see if there isn't a connection between these things being seen, like dragons in the sky. If you all recall, you've all seen the videos online of the dragons during the eclipse and all that flying in the sky over the United States. And we've all seen the clips of the evidence where ancient Egyptian artifacts and statues and hieroglyphics are being found all over the place, including the Grand Canyon. Um, and we have proof that the Mayans were in Georgia. So, I mean, we have pyramids all over the place in North America, all over the place. And we have actual pictograph art on the sides of cliffs by my people and other native people in the region, indigenous people in the region, that depict characters like this, okay, or alienness looking type of beings that look like they could be genetically mutated in from an ant to a person and all that. But I'm under the impression that the reason the Catholic Church is sending an exorcist priest to a place in Africa where there's obviously they've killed this thing, probably because a government lab created it, or it did it come through a portal. Now, you all know that we were on the program last night with us that we talked about portals, okay, and how stargates were being used and portals are being used, and how you can use mirrors and you can literally use like bowls of water to do portals. Sound frequency. I even told you guys about the frequencies I've been working with, and I'm going to be doing some more of that today. I should start videotaping that. You know that, Eric? I should really start videotaping all my experiments.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I really should, because how else am I going to document it? But then again, I'm you don't want to put stuff like that out on the internet, because then you know who's going to come knocking at your door and say, "What the hell are you doing?" You know, we're going to take
Sure,
away everything hold precious if you don't stop doing it on the internet. And and they're called the MIB. We all know. We all deal with them.
Mhm.
But
Twister wants to
I don't
know, has
know.
this
Maybe I
been
might
remote
start.
viewed?
Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if it's been remote viewed. A little twisted. Maybe you or Jessica could take a peek at it. Oh no, it's not a walker. It's not a walker. I'm not afraid to say the word skinwalker because I've been there, done that. Okay, so I don't fear that name anymore, because I've actually was raised up around that ceremony. So that's no biggie for me. I could say it till I'm blue in the face. So, but most of the elders and stuff don't like it when I say the word, because with folks it coming in, so, or happening. But yeah, I just found this very curious when I was looking at this over 3 years ago, and I was doing the research on it, Eric. You know, I don't want to say the part of Africa it's in, but it starts with a G. Let's put it that way.
Damn, I was right.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. That
Yeah.
is exactly where I was thinking.
Yeah. Yep. And I just, I researched it. I did everything I could to prove that this picture was fake. Um, I put it through all the discolorations, the frames per second, the all the hues to see if it was pixelated. I mean, I did as much as I could. I clarified it, and then I reversed imaged it, and I reversed the negative on it. Made it into a negative to see if I could see any changes. I couldn't find anything that where it would say this picture was fake. Okay. And the one thing that always got me with this picture is the fact that they have a priest in the locale that does exorcisms. And, is this because a portal was opened to hell, or to another dimension that these creatures actually dwell? I mean, it's not far off to think that, in the days of King Arthur, that there were dragons, because we're seeing dragons all the time now around solar eclipses and stuff, and we're seeing them fly across the sky. There's video of them, and the video has been proven not to be, faked, because it was a live feed. How can you fake a live feed? So I don't know. I'm really curious to see what everybody else thinks. Okay. So let me take that off of there. And do they use portals for that? Do they bring these creatures through and then genetically mutate them, or genetically research them and make something bigger and badder? It could be.
I mean, you could. Look throughout history, man. You're just talking about King Arthur and the dragons. Well, I mean, if you study a lot of European culture, they talk about. I mean, it's talked about in all other cultures too. But you brought up King Arthur. In that culture, I mean, it always talks about one of the ways to become a knight is to slay a dragon. I mean, that's throughout that history. Dragons are thick in my people's history. The Norse, it's very thick with dragons. Asian cultures thick with dragons. These griffins, they're talked about throughout time, and the fact that the Vatican's there. We know the Vatican has access to stuff that they keep hidden from us all the time. Could this have been what I was kind of curious about when I was studying that picture when you had it up? I seen no entrance or exit wound. So I am under the impression, did they actually trank this thing and they're taking DNA samples from it? Because it looked like that's what that guy was doing down behind it. He was taking DNA samples. Could they be doing that?
Yeah.
Could they have modified that one and it came up to be a bad batch and therefore they tranked it to get the DNA? When I'm looking on this, I mean, I see a battle wound there, yes, on its rear leg, but I see no entrance or exit wound with the blood on it, so that tells me this thing is probably tranked and not unalived. Could they be grading all that stuff? Absolutely.
It does look like the guy is taking a sample. That is true. It does look like the guy is taking a sample. So, but I'm so curious though as to why the Vatican would send an exorcist priest. I can't comprehend why they would do that unless they knew way back then that CERN opened up the portal to hell. And maybe this thing came out of that portal.
Look in history. I mean, griffins are deep in Egyptian or not Egyptian. I mean, that culture over there, period, is deep within that culture. So, I mean,
the European folklore,
so I don't know if it's actual portal that's brought them in because we've got such a long history of them, or if this is something they caught and they've caught one before, took a DNA sample, and they're trying to recreate it. I mean, the Vatican does this crap all the time.
From being in the military as well as I have, that we have special access program contingency plans in Africa, in every aspect of Africa, every country in Africa, including Saudi Arabia and Egypt. So we have, assets there that could pull this off. But I'm just a little leery as to why the Vatican is involved. But then again, the Vatican has been involved, since Constantine. If you think about it, since Constantine went from changing his pagan ways to Christianity, which he actually invented Christianity, by the way, everybody. Okay.
To win a war.
Literally. Yeah. And literally, Constantine is the reason we have the symbol of the cross, because Constantine was getting ready for a big battle, and he saw in the sky the formation of the cross, and he incorporated the formation of the cross as the symbol of Christianity. Okay, and then he went further into all the books of the Bible, from the book of Giants and the book of Jasser and the book of Enoch and all the other books there. and he handpicked with his whatever you call the council back then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was about 30 priests and stuff, and Constantine that hand selected all the books for the King James version of the Bible. And I just, knowing that the Vatican was involved in that whole transaction back in, when was it? That was like, what was that, 1320 AD, I believe that was. I
Somewhere
can't
around
remember. It
there.
was either, yeah, it was somewhere around there. And it was all because the Vatican wanted to have everybody under one religion. Okay. And now you have all these different offshoots of this religion. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, the creator's not a religion. The creator is a way of living, your life. It's the way of you should model your life after his, you know, knowledge and his rules, of life, which was
Mm-hmm.
the commandments, and everything else that's in the biblical aspect of the Bible. But I really think that back in the day when Constantine was pulling out all these books and out of the Bible, um, he was noticing these things, these cryptids,
Mm-hmm.
these griffins, these dragons, and mermaids. That's why he pulled the Book of Enoch out of the Bible, because it talked about mermaids. How the
Mm-hmm.
the Nephilim and all that, and
Gosh.
he didn't want any of that released to the so-called public. His you know I don't know what you would call them, his people.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously the Vatican has been involved in covering up stuff like this for a very, very long time.
Yep.
And I'm kind of curious to see what everybody thinks, including yourself, Eric. If you would go ahead and take it from there for a little bit, I can get a break and a breather and
Mm-hmm.
try to relax a little bit. My heart is going fast too.
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not uncommon for them to do this type of stuff. Um, that was my cat twisted. Aurora's being very mouthy today. But they. I agree. They took a lot out. That's why I'm not a fan of the King James. That's why I'm not a fan of the Catholic religion. And that's why I'm not a fan of religion, period. Honestly, I'm just not a fan of religion. Religion is known to twist and contort to whatever the person wants to create their utopia. It takes away from Yahweh, and I'm not a fan of that. Um,
Yeah.
hey, come on now. I'm going to put you outside. You got to
Yeah.
stop. Um, so they do this all the time, and this is not uncommon. And yeah, she's mouthy. Um, so this is nothing new. I mean, we've all seen evidence of this throughout time. And guys, I apologize. I'll be right back. I am going to put her outside because she won't quit.
Oh God, that's too funny. That is too funny, Eric. Anyways, it's a good thing that cat's not a griffin. Eric had to call the priest to come in and exercise the cat. Anyways,
Sorry,
that
guys.
was too
Man,
funny,
she's
Eric.
I don't know what she is doing, what her deal is today. She is
Uh,
really, really being a pain in the butt. Um, Yeah,
uh,
they hid the truth. People forget dinosaurs was coined around, I think it was 1864, 1841, somewhere around there is where the term dinosaurs was coined. Before then, we called them dragons. A lot of cultures, like look at Mesoamerica alone, they had carvings of these dragons, which was Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus rexes,
right.
Brontosauruses, stuff like
Stegosaurus.
this.
Stegosaurus
Stegosaurus,
is another one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is all on their temples and on their carvings. So this is stuff that's very deep in our culture.
Picture up
Could they
here.
come through on a portal? That
Yeah.
is possible. I'll never say no, but I'm wondering if they
Let me
won't
let me
have
pop
been here all the time.
here, Eric, and oh,
You're good, bro.
Wait a minute. I'm still here. I hope. I
Yeah,
hope
yeah,
I'm
you're
still
here.
here.
Yeah, you're here. Yeah, you're here.
Oh, want me talking about it? They don't want me talking about it, folks. So I got to make this quick, okay? When we deal with dragons, wouldn't something like, say, this that you would see on a regular basis be considered a land dragon?
Yeah.
Or maybe this would be considered a land dragon? Really, I'm curious to see what everybody in the chat thinks. Okay, about the possibility of dragons actually being descendants somehow, um, either environmentally changed because of they said that the dragons were annihilated from the meteors, or amongst us here on this planet, or from another dimension. I mean, there's so many ways that this could be, because there has got to be a reason. An archaeological dig came out yesterday, just yesterday morning, with the finds of a dragon in Iceland. Okay, actually living, breathing, one-time dragon in Iceland. Okay, the scientists, the archaeologists, and the scientists that were with this group, this dig site, said that this is the most complete organism that they've ever found. And guess what happened? The very next morning, all the evidence disappeared. Imagine that. Now, I wonder
Yeah.
where all that evidence would go to when
Yeah.
you're
I wonder who always takes evidence.
talking about dragons and you're talking about they. Yep, and there goes my computer again. I'm gonna quit talking here and
All right.
see if it gets better. I'm gonna let you talk. Maybe they'll back off of me then, because my computer keeps on wanting to.
Now they shut me down for a second. I had to come back in. Um, so I mean, yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, we know that certain entities, the Vatican, the Smithsonian, and stuff like that, is constantly coming in and taking history away. There's so many documentations of these two entities coming in and doing that. Somebody had posed a question a while back when we talked about this: is the Smithsonian tied to the Vatican? I don't know if it is or not. I mean, it's a good possibility that they are. I don't know. But we know that these two entities are extremely good about doing this. Good morning, Uncut. Uh, is buffering on your end? Yeah. So, this is just stuff that's through our history. And this is the thing is we need to stand up against these entities and go, look, this is our history. We have the right to know about our history. Yeah. All roads lead to Rome. Absolutely, Moon. I mean, oops, that's the wrong one. It really does. It really, honestly, truly, it does. I mean, we know the Vatican has a huge influence in our political background. I mean, everybody caters to the Pope. I'm sorry, man, but one man is not the right hand of God. That is not what Yahweh says. Yahweh says no man is more important than another man. Judge ye not, yes, you be judged alone. Man is not to judge man. God is to judge man. So when you put a man in charge, even when the Apostle John created the Catholic religion, it was not the way that it is now. This Catholic religion is totally different. So the fact that the Vatican controls and runs everything, it's wrong. It's wrong, and they're doing the same thing. And if you notice, it's not just the Vatican, and though, but it's not just the Smithsonian here either. It's governments and other entities around the world doing the exact same crap. When did our servants? Our servants are our political people. They swore an oath to serve us. They're our servants. When did our servants decide that they hold more power than we do? When did our servants decide that they could hide information that we should not know, that we are not capable enough to hold this information?
Exactly.
That is not right. This is not how this works. They are servants to us. We, the
Amen.
people,
Preach it.
and this is what aggravates me because they're
Brother.
doing this stuff. Yeah, I'm serious, man. It pisses me off because we forget about this. We are so mind conditioned to think that they hold the power and they're in charge. They're not in charge. They literally are servants of the people. We, the people, hold the power. But then they do this stuff. They hide all this history. They hide all the stuff that goes on that William and I and DA and Jessica and all them talk about. So hiding this Griffin doesn't surprise me. William said himself, this thing was not CGI'd. It was a legitimate leak of a photo from a scientist who took this thing. That he knows. This
geneticist.
Yep. Hey, Hobbit, how's it going? But this is stuff we see throughout our time frame all the time. I believe that this thing still exists. Have I seen some of this stuff? No, I've not seen it with my own eyes, but I believe because I've seen enough evidence to show me that these things exist. I have things that even last night was messing with me on my front porch again. Last night, which we'll talk about that tonight on my show. But it happens, man. I mean, it really does. So I believe this photo. If William says it's not CGI, he's ran it through his stuff. He's got it through his contacts. It's not CGI.
Yeah, it's not CGI, and it's too old of a picture to be AI. Okay, AI wasn't working in the internet at the time this photograph was taken. Okay,
man, it looks like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, this was taken in the early 90s.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And when it got leaked to me, I picked it up. Oh God, what was it? I want to say I talked about this in 2021 during the pandemic, or 2020. Maybe it was 2020, the end of the pandemic, first year. So I've had this picture for the better part of at least 3.5 years. So, and I haven't disclosed this to anybody except the one podcast that I did. I spoke about it briefly and now. So, and when we were talking last night, I started thinking that, there we are having CERN open up all these portals, and we're talking about all these garage scientists around the world that are opening up portals and stuff and working on the same thing CERN is, like the Hadron Collider they've got in Tennessee, and the one up in Minnesota. Anyways, up there. And then, you talk about the Bible, the Old Testaments of the Bible talk about having 3 stargates at each direction: the north, the south, the east, and the west. Okay. 3 stargates. Okay. Now, our country, our military has been ordered to basically find these locations. Well, when we went into Afghanistan, okay, we found one of them. Okay. And at the same time, they found other things. Okay. Other questionable things through their operations there. Their special access program. I call them cartels, special access program cartels, because they are elites. They're elite squads that go in and find these things. And like the Kandahar giant, the red-haired giant that they said that they got into a firefight with and unalived. So, but the same group of individuals is the ones that found King Gilgamesh's tomb,
Mm-hmm.
and we're purposely searching for these locations because God knows that America has to be the first and foremost country to have all the knowledge and all the access to everything in the world, and the universe. Um, so we're actually completing what the Nazis started. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
literally, we are completing what the Nazis started,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't fathom, and if you think about the connection of the Germans during World War II, Hitler and the Nazi Party to the Vatican. Think about it. There's a connection there of the laundering of the gold and stuff, the gold fillings that were yanked out of all the Jewish people's teeth, you know, and melted down into gold bars and stuff to finance the war for the Nazis, and all the other fine arts and stuff that were stolen around the world that when they invaded, and that unfortunately probably half of them have been returned and the other half is probably sitting in Fort Knox, because we have to have it, but there's so much connected to the Vatican that and it's like Twisted said, on here, all roads lead to the Vatican, you know
Mm-hmm.
even if you can connect the Smithsonian to the Vatican, you can connect NASA to the Vatican,
Mm-hmm.
and all these other organizations that are helping cover up the narrative of what we're supposed to know, you
Mm-hmm.
know and it's about time that they start coughing it up and start telling the people that live here and that pay the taxes and buy the goods and the wares and stuff from all these elites that think they're in control. They should start disclosing more. I think what they're doing in Washington D.C. is a disgrace. Okay, is a disgrace to the intelligence of people worldwide. Okay, and it's a disgrace because they're only opening up the files and under witness protection program protocols, um, for certain UFO and alien activity. Okay. The ones they want you, that they deemed appropriate for you, the public, John Q. public, to know about. Okay. Because it's not that detrimental to our security. Okay. But what they mean is their security, not our
Mm-hmm.
security. We don't have anything to fear. We don't
No.
have anything to fear. Okay.
No.
They do. Okay. They do.
Exactly. I mean, 100%. I mean, that Young Cut says I'm non-denominational. I mean, I was that way for a while, but now I'm just I'm just non-religious. I'm a spiritual man. You know, we are
Yeah. Because
created
it's a
from
good way to
Mother
keep us
Earth.
divided.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we're created from Mother Earth. We are a part of Mother Earth. There's a reason why we call her Mother Earth. We are created
Yep.
from her. We are a part of her. That's why we connect to her so well. That's why they try to teach us not to connect to her, because that's how our body operates.
Exactly.
We are literally created from Mother Earth.
Yep.
So
Exactly. Exactly.
and a good way to subjugate people and to get them to think the way that they want you to think is to disconnect them from their connection. And that's what
Right.
they're doing. That's what these things do. That's what your boob tube does. That's what your radio does. It disconnects you from Mother Earth.
Yep.
Your synthetic clothing, your
Exactly.
synthetic foods, your synthetic drinks, all this stuff disconnects you from Mother Earth.
Well,
Reconnect.
here's my next thing too, though, with this whole connection thing. Okay. My
Mm-hmm.
next thought was, okay, well, if the Vatican is helping the Smithsonian and NASA and everybody hide all these actual facts and actual historical stuff, including dragons and griffins and all that, and giants, the bones of giants and all that, because it's all connected. It is literally all connected. Okay. And the portals and the stargates are what the connection, and CERN is what the connecting rod is to the whole thing. They're the conduit. Okay. That's the conduit to bringing these things here. Okay. Or having them reappear here, you know. And then you start to think, well, no wonder all the indigenous people around the world, including Africa, laid curses upon the land and curses upon whoever messed with the dead and the dead's artifacts, just like ancient Egypt. Okay. Just like Egypt. Okay. All the curses around the world, if you consider this, I'm going to scoot over to the side. If you consider all the curses around the world, okay, including like the curses in Egypt, all the Native American curses here in America, South America, Australia, the outback of Australia, I mean, indigenous people knew that they couldn't trust this new religion, this new people that were coming to their land. Okay. So obviously, all the indigenous cultures around the world put these curses out there for a reason to keep them, the Vatican, and families and groups and organizations like the Vatican, to keep them away from the knowledge that the indigenous people had. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't have that sacred knowledge. And it just makes sense to me that, and it's like I told Jessica the one time, I don't know if she's watching or not, but if she is, good morning. I told Jessica, actually a couple times, and I told you that, a lot of this stuff that people are seeing has been brought about because we, as an indigenous culture of this land, have sacred sites. We have sacred locations that we deem people not to be in. Okay, whether it's burial mounds or sacred sites as far as ceremonies, vision quest sites, and all that, and Sundance sites. All this stuff is protected by the indigenous people, okay, by our medicine people like me, okay, that we're taught to do these ceremonies to protect the land and protect everything that's on that land and in the land, okay, to keep the people that come from Europe from cutting open Mother Earth's bosom and trying to dig at her bones, if you know what I mean. Now, what's he asking?
He wants to know how long does a curse last? It says,
well, see, that's the thing. They could last years, thousands of years. They can last a generation. They can last 10 generations. Typically, the traditional, like, native curses would usually last 10 generations. Okay. And that's usually the norm. Okay. For the longest duration. So if you consider 10 generations, you consider somebody living till 70 years old on average. So you're talking 700 years. Okay. Egypt, when they did their curses in Egypt, they basically, it's the duration of that, person's remains being in the ground, and in the tombs to be protected. It's eternal. Okay. It's never ending. It's like the Alpha and the Omega. It has no beginning and no end to the curses that they did in Egypt on, like, King Tut, okay, on all of his stuff. So curses can, depending on the person that's actually making them the curse. Okay. But usually with native people, it's no more than 10 generations. And that's usually, I'm not saying that's, 100% of the time, because there are curses that last forever. There's a curse that says when the grass grows and the river flows and the buffalo return, that the native people will have their land back. The indigenous inhabitants of America will have their land back. Well, that's literally an indefinite period of time. Okay, because the grass is growing, the buffalo have returned, not to the numbers they used to be, but and the rivers are still flowing. But there was a time, and there is a time that it says in the Bible that when the rivers stop flowing, if you think about it, and this is why I think the Vatican's getting so heavily involved in all this cryptid activity, because they're afraid what's under the Euphrates River. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that from the Bible, it talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse being under the Euphrates River. And when the river dries up, those demonic angels will come forth, on their horses, and you'll have pestilence, you'll have famine, you'll have death, you'll have war, all those will come forth from the Euphrates River. Okay. So that might kind of solidify the connection that the Vatican has on dealing with all these cryptid activities and sending out the exorcists, the priests that do the exorcisms. Okay. Because maybe they know the truth is going to be, divulged at a certain time, and they're trying to cover their ass, is all they're trying to do. They're worried about themselves, but we don't have anything to worry about. Okay. Because it says in the scripture that we will live forever. Okay. And we will live in paradise forever. Okay. So, but that's pretty much the whole thing with the curses. Okay. Now, the Vatican being as it is, they're quick to go to these locations and to silence, all the, how the Vatican's going to do it. They're going to portray it like, well, if you speak about this, it's going to be sacrilegious against God. It's going to be, questioning God. You don't want to question your God because you'll be cursed to burn in hell. That ain't it at all. That isn't it at all. Okay. God never said that we didn't have the right to question everything. Okay. He said the main thing that focus on was his will and his way of living our lives. Okay. So that's why the Vatican's trying to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want it exposed because it exposes them for the frauds that they are. So, and I'm surprised they let me talk as long as I have without trying to shut my internet down.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Yeah, they're talking about when they can hear the cat through the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants in. She's a pain in the butt today. I don't know what her issue is. But yeah, I mean, they do this stuff because think about it. If people in certain religions get to actually listening to the religions, they're going to see how the religion contradicts itself all the time.
Exactly.
It really does. It says, "Do not worship false idols." Well, whenever you bring out a cross, or you bring out the bones of a prophet, or you tell them to pray to Mother Mary, you're not supposed to pray to Mother Mary. You're supposed to pray to Yahweh or Yeshua. When you bring out a cross, you bring out bones of a saint or anything like that. Well, you're worshiping that thing. So I mean, they're constantly contradicting themselves every single time.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And and it's the fact too that they think that we, being the people, the masses, are just ignorant. You know. Morning, Hobbit. Good to see you. Um, they think that we are just completely ignorant and blind to the fact that they're covering it all up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go out into Utah, there is a place in northern Utah, by pretty close to Skinwalker Ranch, actually, where NASA has this big metal round, um, almost like a ground marker, um, put in the ground there. Okay. And it says that it was a certain project from NASA, and it's in the ground there, permanently installed in the ground there in northern Utah. And nobody knows why NASA was there. Well, here's the thing. When NASA was devised or brought about, the founders of NASA meant that it was going to be an aquatic science division, not a space science division. Okay. So it was devised originally to be, that was freaky. Anyways, um, it was devised to be basically an exploratory of research facility for the oceans, okay, and all the seas around the world. Um, but they changed the narrative of it to a space agency, okay, to deflect from what they're doing on the ground and in the water. They're still very active under the oceans. They're still very active out in the middle of nowhere, okay? And they're doing all this stuff because why? That's the question. I think it's because they are working with the Vatican and CERN
Mm-hmm.
and all these other agencies, 3-letter and 4-letter agencies that like their secrecy, and they're all working together to bring forth creatures that once existed into this world, okay, and basically want the genetics of them. They want to make them. They either want to weaponize it, or they want to um, make it a martyr, make it something, a symbol of something. Because we all know that the Creator hates symbolism and ideology. Okay, there be no idols before Him. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking that the Vatican's trying to do. They're trying to make it make us unaware of what they're doing behind
Mm-hmm.
our backs, and they think that we're just stupid and we're going to fall for every little thing that they say.
Sadly, most
And
people
like I
will.
said, it's whether yeah, and what it is it's the Vatican, the Smithsonian, NASA, and 4 and 3-letter agencies all working together to cover up stuff. It's like we've always talked about, Eric, about how the civilizations are built on top of civilizations. I mean, we've proven it time and time again on the podcast. We have
Mm-hmm.
proven that fact. Okay. By showing certain designs. We've proven the fact that
Now.
giants exist.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Mud Fossil University out there. You've got yourself doing it, and several other people, and myself. We've proven the connection between the giants, the
Mm-hmm.
red-haired giants, the royal family, the vampiric societies, and all this other stuff, on into it's all connected and it's all coming together now.
Mm-hmm.
Like pieces of conduit being stuck together, like piping. It's all coming together now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vatican and the scientists around the world that work for CERN and NASA and all these other agencies, um, they're starting to get worried because mankind is waking up to the fact that, hey, they're not going to listen to us anymore.
Uh-huh.
you know. So I don't know, man. I just it's a topic that it really has no end because other than that, we're seeing stuff like pyramids, like we talked about the one time, above the Kremlin, above the Dome of the Rock, above the Pentagon, real pyramids in the sky.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You can see the shadow effect on that picture there. Okay. And then you have this other picture, and these are pyramids that they're finding everywhere. And they're
Uh-huh.
actually shaped like a pyramid, but they're floating above the Kremlin, the Pentagon, the Dome of the Rock, Kiev, all over the place. And it's always the centers of where the um, political and military controllers are in the country, is where you
Uh-huh.
see these pyramids over. Think about it. They're trying to intimidate whoever's in control of the pyramids, is trying to show the people of the world that their governments and their military industrial complex can't do anything about them being a couple hundred feet above their head in a pyramid.
Uh-huh.
So, are all the powers that be in our world are freaking out because we're starting to realize this. And then that's why when they disclose this stuff to the Congress people in Congress, um, like the UFO disclosure, I use that loosely because disclosure is not what it was. It was a whitewash is what it is. Let's call it what it is, to cover up more significant findings. So let's give them a little bit to chase, and we're going to keep the real stuff hidden. That's what they
Yeah.
do. They've been doing it. They've been doing it for thousands of years.
Oh yeah. It's I mean, if you actually study the true Bible, and God says that I created man in our image, in the image of the gods. There's more than one God. He also says, I am the God above all gods. It means there's more than one. So if you kind of break it down and you think about it, there's a reason why he's called the great creator. The one true and only God is because he is the one that created everything. He created the lesser gods, Zeus, Odin, so forth, so on. He also created mankind. I mean, this is all done by design. And so that will tell you that there's more than one out there. So with more than one out there becomes more than one possibilities, more than one beliefs, more than one truth. This is
Yep.
this is all tied together. That's why you have different things in different cultures, and you have similar things in every single culture as well. It's because there's
Yep.
different truths in each culture because there's a God that's above each culture. Then there's the one
Yep.
supreme God, Yahweh. Yahweh is the supreme God. He is the creator of everything. And we have to start remembering stuff like this.
Yeah.
I got caught up
Yep.
on the chat here.
Yeah. Go ahead and get caught up on the chat. I want to go through it too. I appreciate everybody in the chat too because
Mm-hmm.
there's some really really well thought out conversations on here.
Exactly, Moon. He created
Mhm.
mid-level management. Now, in many religions, it will tell you, like Odin created man and woman from an ash tree and an elm tree, or Zeus created man from clay. Blah blah blah. It'll tell you all this stuff like this. But I mean, is there a level of truth to it? There could be because all the cultures are the same thing. But one thing is always for sure in every single culture: there is one supreme God, the creator of all things.
Yep. Yeah,
He called it.
Uncut and Richard there have really good comments there too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you both are absolutely correct. Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's absolutely absurd to think that they think that we're so stupid that we can't see it and figure it out for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, exactly. William has said this several times, and I agree with him on this. when King James and the Cardinals created the King James version of the Bible, they took out Yahweh and Yeshua and put in God and Jesus. And if we go back to time and you think about it, when Jesus faced Lucifer in the desert, he said, "You're not only a prince amongst these this in this realm, you're a god in this realm." So when you're praying to God, who are you actually praying to? I've been very fortunate enough as Heavenly Father, Heavenly God. But you have to be very careful on how you pray, because you very well could be praying straight to Lucifer.
Right.
As Lucifer, I'm the one that's starting to lean towards maybe Lucifer is one of those types of sub gods, semi-gods. I don't know, because we know he was the leader of the angels in heaven before he was cast down over his jealousy. And this is where
Right.
jealousy comes in. He was jealous and he rebelled, and which was why he was cast down.
Right.
He was jealous
Exactly.
because they are servants and we are created with free will.
Yeah. Moon at Noon says we're here to learn, and that's
Yep.
true. That's very, very true. But and if you think about it, Moon at Noon, that's exactly why they're covering it up. They don't want us to
Mhm.
learn what we are meant to do and learn about. They want all this sacred knowledge to be kept from us. Okay. And
Mhm.
they want parts of the Bible kept from us. They think that having the book of Enoch in the King James Bible is going to destroy the religion. Well, yeah, it is, because it's a religion. Okay.
Mhm.
It's not Yeshua. Okay. It's not the creator of everything. It's not the Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
Religion is not the Heavenly Father. Religion is a man made concept,
Yes.
and they don't want to lose it. They don't want the people to lose their faith in the religion. Okay. And the religion that prays to God. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, like Eric just said, I've said it 100 times, and so has he. The God of this world is exactly what Yahuwah said on on earth back in the days, when he was talking to Satan, Lucifer. He said, "You're not only the prince of this world, but you are the God of this world." Okay. And nowadays, when we go, see, I've always been this person to where you don't have to go to a building to be with your creator. You
Mhm.
don't have to be under a cross in a building to show that you're at a church to be with your creator. You see what I'm going? The most beautiful, most breathtaking cathedral that our creator, that
Right out there.
Yahuwah made for us to enjoy and to live upon, is the mountains and the pines. And my father and I used to call it the Cathedral of the Pines.
Mhm.
Okay. Because that is where we're going to have our interactions and our relationship with the Creator. We're not going to have it in a building with four walls and a roof over it and
Mhm.
a steeple with a cross on it. Okay. We're not going to have that. That's not where you go to have a relationship. That's where you go to have a relationship with your pastor, with your religion. Okay. Not with your
Mhm.
creator. God never said that. The only thing that the creator ever said in the Bible was not to build your house upon sand, to build it
Mhm.
upon the rock.
Mhm.
Why would he
There's.
say rock? Why would he say rock, everybody? Because he created it. The
Mhm.
rocks, the boulders, the pines, the mountains, he created the perfect cathedral. We're
Yeah.
worshiping in the wrong place, as far as I'm concerned. That
Everybody has forgotten a very important phrase in the Bible, and this is an extremely important phrase. In the Bible, Yahweh says, "Where two or more gather to spread my word and worship my name, I am there." That is the church. The church is the people coming together It is not a building. It is the people coming together. We're having church now. In all essence of the verse, we literally are having church now. We're spreading his word. We're worshiping. We're talking about him. We're having church. This is a church. And people get so focused on a building that they forget what is. The church is this. The church is us. It's the body. It's the people.
Yeah, Hobbit's right. Hobbit, Hobbit is completely right here. And you are completely right there, Hobbit. We are created in his image, and I've spoke about this dozens of times. That God is in us just as much as we are a part of God. Okay.
When you pray, what do you do?
Indigenous people of North America have this directional prayer that we do, and it's the north, the south, the east, the west, the above, the below, and the within, and the without. Okay, those are the sacred directions. Okay, and that's kind of what Yahusha was trying to teach us when he was down here, with his disciples. He was trying to teach us the power of prayer and the power of positive thinking, and the power you gain when you are put through tests in life. Okay, and we all know how hard life can be. Okay, and especially since you have everything that's being done in this world under the wrong principle God. Okay, everything being done in this world currently is being done through Lucifer and for Lucifer, and we have to remember that. Okay, until the Messiah returns and wipes the slate clean. Okay, and sends Lucifer where he needs to be and all of his dominion, it's going to be that way. And that's why when you go to church, say a church disbands. Okay, a church doesn't succeed in a community, and they close it up. What's the first thing in a paranormal investigation you find within a abandoned church? What's the first entity? What's the first being you find within that church?
For
it's
me,
a demon.
I was about to say that. For me, it's always been a demon. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So naturally, demons are going to flow towards these abandoned churches because they were never meant to be for the Creator. Think about it. They were meant to be for Lucifer.
Where did Yahweh preach? Or Yeshua? Where did Yeshua preach all the time? Everybody think about that?
Usually the water's edge.
Water's edge. He preached out in nature. People forget about that. Forget about that concept. We are all one being. We are all separate entities that are combined together to be one being. We are all connected through frequency, through energy. We're all connected. Hence why, like in situations, when you come to another part of your entity that's negative, you feel that negativity. So in other words, become a person that's negative, you can feel that negative. We're connected in energy and frequency. We're all connected as one being.
Because that's what the Creator is. The Creator is energy. The Creator is energy, water. The Creator is whatever he wants to make himself to be that we would see. Okay. And it says in the Bible that we don't have the ability to look upon his grace. Okay. That we don't have the ability to see past his grace because his grace is so dramatically terrifying that we would literally collapse and evaporate pretty much in his presence. His holiness, his grace is so powerful that all other, beings, light beings, will bow a knee to him.
Yeah.
Okay. And we will see that pretty soon. Okay.
We
We
will.
will see that happening pretty soon,
Twisted
and
up. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Twisted. I'd like to know where you got your information from on that, because I want to see it personally. Because my studies suggest a completely different thing. I mean, Lucifer's name was Lucifer upon heaven. He was the head of all angels. He was the head of the choir. He had the most beautiful voice. He was the most beautiful angel. And when it was rebellious, and Michael and all them, and Gabriel and all
Well,
them, Raphael,
Lucifer's
fought him.
Lucifer's name means light bearer or
Yeah.
light bringer. Okay. And also his original angel name was Aziel. Okay. And every angel has the ending of L in their name. And you have to ask yourself why. And that is because when you translate it to the old dialects, it basically makes it a representation of being
Mhm.
light and not a god.
Mhm.
Okay. So
I would love to see your information on that, though. Honestly, I would love, because if it's something new that I have not discovered in my studies of ancient religions, I would love to see it. Honestly, I
yeah.
love that kind of stuff. That's what I live for, is that stuff.
Yeah, Satan's Moon and Noon is right. Satan is a title. It
The
is a
main, yeah.
title, and
Hmm.
it's a derivative of when the Bible was transferred from Greek to English.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's where all this confusion lies. Is
Hmm.
the King James version of the Bible being cropped
Hmm.
down so much by uh, Emperor Constantine, and the Roman Catholic Church um, at the time, basically removing 44 books, if not more, out of the Bible and
Hmm.
making the King James version more suitable to their needs, okay, to control the masses, and exclude things that, we were meant to know. Okay,
Hmm.
we were meant to know that Enoch didn't die, that the Creator took Enoch and brought him to heaven and made him an angel. Okay, and now he is the angel that documents everything that happens here on Earth.
Hmm.
Okay, so there's so much they try to keep from us. Okay, and the more they dumbify us, and they do it so well. Okay,
Hmm.
they do this so very well that it's nothing to them to do. They have been dumbifying us with fluoride in water. They've
Yep.
been dumbifying us with dyes and stuff in our food and preservatives in our food. um, they've dummied us up with chemicals in tobacco. All kinds of stuff. Okay,
Mm.
they put lithium. They put lithium in bottled water, folks.
Yeah.
Did you know that? In bottled water, Nestle's Pure Life is the main culprit that does that, and Danzai water. They put lithium in the water. You know why? To keep our energy levels down and to keep us monotoned and equal in emotion so we don't get out of control.
Hmm.
How many people know that? You know why I know that? Because I used to do water. I was a water plant operator. Okay. So a 10 million gallon a day facility is what I used to run. Okay. So trust me when I say they're putting lithium in bottled water, and they
Hmm.
are. Okay. And not only are they putting lithium in it, a lot of that bottled water that you're drinking is right out of a faucet. So it's got fluoride in it.
Hmm.
Okay. So they're really working hard at keeping us subdued.
Hmm.
Okay. And the only reason I'm saying this to everybody is because I love everybody in the chat. Okay. You guys are family to me. All right.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to be able to talk about these things forever. I'm not with my health right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay. So I cherish each day I can come on here and talk to you guys about this. Okay. Because this is stuff that we need to sort it out. We need to sort it out. We need to figure out why they don't want us knowing this stuff. And we know why. Okay. We know why they dumbify us and they indoctrinate us and from kindergarten on, because they want to control us. They don't want us getting unruly. Okay. Yeah. It's like I've always said, if the ants rebel against the royal family, the ants are going to win.
Yeah.
They're outnumbering the royal family 1,000 to 1.
And that's the thing, and that's why they're trying to keep us dumbified. So we all know that a certain three-letter agency during Vietnam would remove bodies of deceased soldiers from the body bags and place drugs in them, or they would actually cut open the bodies and place drugs in them and ship them back. This is how that got started. This was used to create a slave race. How do you easily create a slave race without the slave race knowing they're a slave race? You mess with their mind. Yeah. So you got mental stuff, hiding truth from them, taking their mind off of reality, telling them what reality is, inducing them with cocktails that will cause them to not think right. This is Sun Tzu's Art of War, baby. That's all I got to say. Sun Tzu's Art of War will explain so much to you what's going on. This is how you create this type of stuff. And this is what they've done multiple times. Hey, Z, this is what they do. I mean, this is nothing new. This is a tactic they've used for so long. Another tactic is you take this word here and you move it here. You move this word here. Now you don't have the truth, and now you have your truth, which gains you the power.
Right. Now, when you're dealing with places like this, where they hide their actual tests and stuff from the public, they'll give us a generalization of when they're going to be doing a run program type of a thing, but they won't it'll just be a generality. It won't be like a conclusive, this is what we're doing and this is what happened, because they don't want us to know. Okay. They will announce only little tidbits here and there, enough for us to get an idea of what they're doing, but not enough to completely expose them for the frauds and the Satanists that they are. Okay. Now, if you think about it, think about a portal. Look at the design of the Hadron Collider. Okay. Look at the design. You see all that copper wire around the exterior of it in a circle motion. Okay. Now, what's that look like? That looks like a portal. That looks like a Stargate. Okay. It really does. Okay. Now, why would you need a Stargate that big or a portal that big? Okay. Well, it would be to do your weird scientific experiments on the demons and all the mythological entities of the past, to bring them forth and basically to help control and the populace through fear. Okay. And that's why we're seeing things, inhabit our world that we never used to even think existed. Okay. And yes, I'm talking all the way down from a griffin to a dragon to aliens to you name it, Bigfoot, Dogman. I'm talking it all. Okay. Because I know for a fact that when I did my ceremonies in my younger days, the black art ceremonies of the native people that I had to do growing up, I could call forth certain elementals. Okay. And I could ask that elemental to walk upon a portion of the sacred land and protect it from all that aren't supposed to be there. So, obviously calling forth these beings is like calling forth a demon, okay, that can shapeshift into anything. And the demonic has that ability. They could very well be walking amongst us, and they are really walking amongst us. There is a shapeshifting society of beings, probably more than one actually, that live amongst us. Okay, there you have the reptilians, which can be classified as described as a demon. Okay, because if you think about it, the word demon, when you think about the word demon, you think about seeing something like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you think about seeing something like this. Now either one of those things could also be described as a gargoyle, a dragon, okay, or a demon. All three of those descriptive words would strike fear in somebody that wasn't aware of what was going on, okay? And that is how they control us for the most part. It's through our fears. Now, I, for one, after being put through what I've been through, I don't fear anything anymore. Okay. And it's, I don't, I'm not saying that to boast. I'm saying that because it's true. I don't. I've already stared death in the face, and I'm staring death in the face every time I get up. Okay. I just want to pass some knowledge on to you guys to make sure you guys are taken care of. Okay. After I'm gone. Okay. I want to make sure that you guys have the ability to discern what actually is in front of you and what you should just move out of your way. Okay. I want to make these connections for you all before I leave. Okay. And that is, honest to God, the only reason I do this. Okay. Eric and we have been, since we've been working together, we have connected so many dots. So many things are connected, from the reptilians to vampires to the red-haired giants to demons to portals to, I mean, you name it. We have made so many connections in this chain, this length of chain, and each link we put on that chain makes that chain longer and longer and longer. Okay. And we're
stronger.
finally, we're finally getting to the point where it actually is making sense now. Everything is coming together. Okay. And the one question I always have, that I always think of, is why would the Vatican and all the other powers that be in our world want to hide things from us? It's like Moon at Noon and everybody said in the chat, we have God within us. Okay. Just like we have as above, so below. Okay. As within, so without. Okay. So, we have the ability to do some things. God did make us in his image. Okay. I'm not saying that makes us God. That does not even make us close to being God. Okay. What that does is it gives us innate abilities that we are given upon birth, that the powers that be in this world are trying to suppress. Okay. That's what I'm trying to get through. Okay. And they're repressing it and suppressing it because they know what's going to happen. They're going to lose everything that they've built. Okay. The Vatican's going to be an empty old stone and brick building, eventually collapsing on its decay. Okay. if you
Yeah.
think about the way things are going today with the inflation and stuff on groceries and all that, the expensive gas and all that, and how much the Vatican tries to get their local Catholic churches to have programs to assist people. This is their way of controlling masses also. They do this stuff behind your back, like, don't look back here, okay? Look over here where we're giving you, a couple days worth of food to get you through a month,
Mm-hmm.
or hey, yeah, we'll pay your heating bill this winter for 1 month. Sure, we'll do that. But don't look over here and see what we're doing, over here, because we're helping you out. The whole premise of this is just complete class act manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And God didn't intend to be that way. The creator, the heavenly Father, didn't intend that to be that way. He sent his son down here to teach us unconditional love, which is the most powerful force in all the universes. Okay. And he made the ultimate sacrifice, you know. Um, but one thing we have to remember is that when we when we work together, okay, to find out this, to bring out all this knowledge, okay,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're a light worker, whether you're a Catholic, whether you're Protestant, whether you're non-denominational, we are all of the same blood. Okay, we're all part of the same blood. Okay, that's the only thing that we have to keep in mind. The blood that runs through my veins runs through yours because it's red.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's our blood. Okay, that's all I can do today, man. I'm getting short
No problem. I want to hit a couple things up real
winded
quick.
and
I want to hit a couple
go ahead.
comments up real quick. Z,
Go ahead.
you're right. That's why I keep this on here. This is an EMF protector I keep on my phones to prevent that stuff from happening. I get these through Body Align. I need to get some more because I got some more in the technologies. But that's why I keep that stuff on there. But yeah, you're correct to agree. Another one here. So on this one here, Twisted, I actually had a prophet talk to me, come and talk to us one time. And it's not Lucifer that's over the Vatican. It's a demon king that is over the Vatican. The demon king is one of the fallen angels. When the angels fell from heaven, they didn't lose their rank. They didn't lose their power. This mixed conception of what we think demons are is not reality. They are the same as they were in heaven. They're just not allowed in heaven. Now they've created things that we see as demons and we consider as demons. But the Vatican it's been prophesied several times that there's actually a demon king over the Vatican and not Lucifer himself. So I wanted to hit those up real quick. So I mean that's something you can look into. When you're doing your studies, you can look into that as well and see what I'm talking about. Now the prophecy one is going to be hard for you to look into. I get that. But it's been prophesied by many, many, many very well-known prophets about that happening. So I just wanted to hit those up before we hit.
Yeah, we're real choppy.
Huh?
We're starting to get real choppy. We're starting to get real. Yeah, they're starting to really shut us down. So I'm going to say, we'll be back on tomorrow morning if you all want to join us. If you want to help support the channel, you can, support it through super stickers and super chat. cats and all that.com, and coffee mugs, all kinds of stuff with cryptid creatures on them and Native American designs, all kinds of different stuff, cool stuff.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
And it's pretty reasonable. I bought a couple of my own t-shirts at all, as much as they've been washed. They haven't even begun to shrink or fade, so they're top quality. If you can, that'd be great. If you can, subscribe and follow us. Okay, if you can, follow us on Facebook. Go to the Bizarre and Unknown podcast channel and subscribe to Eric. We're trying to get him up above 500 at least here as soon as possible. 408. So, and also, if you can find Eric's books on Amazon. Okay. And I'm going to let him go ahead and tell you, because I'm going to just say we're going to be back on tomorrow. And Eric, you take it from there, brother.
All right. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at the Bizarre and the Unknown. If you see that logo, you've found me. I'm your fluffy hillbilly that likes to talk about stuff. I have a show tonight at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time called Campfire Chats with Eric and Guests. And that was created by you, the viewers. You all created this show. This is a safe place for you to come and talk about your encounters and share your encounters. I just because I don't believe in your encounter does not mean that your encounter is real or not. It's not for me to say I was not there. But it's the same place because I believe I believe we should share our stuff. I believe it's important that we share our encounters. So this show was created for just that purpose. Tomorrow is my regular Bizarre and the Unknown, where I'm doing another one on the Big W. And I'll be joined with Ryan Paul Tremblay, and we're going to talk about the Big W. I've said the name too many times today. That's why I'm saying Big W. So you can find all that on the Bizarre and the Unknown on YouTube. I'm on Discord. I've got an author's Facebook page you can go to. I like to put out artwork for people to vote on, get people's opinion on titles, the merchandise that I create on my Teespring. Eric, give me a bit to gather some. Yeah, that's fine, Little Twisted. That's perfectly fine, hon. So I have an author's Facebook page I like to involve the people who read my books in the creating of my books. So I'll come up with art designs and I'll post it out there at 4 and let you guys pick which one you like for this book. I've got one I should be releasing here very soon. I haven't got the final edit back yet, but I should be getting it any day now. And that's my latest in the historical fiction. It's called Viking Age, Secrets in Mercia. You can find my books on Amazon. Go to Amazon.com and type in e.d.testerman, just like it is on my little name tag down here. And it'll take you to where my books are. You click my name above my book, it takes you to my author's fan page. You click on that. Anytime I release a new book, it lets you know. 4 out of my 5 books are on audio. One of them is being done right now, is being worked on right now. I hired a new producer to produce the book. So that is the Vangerian Guard Book 1, House of Battle, which is my historical fiction that takes place during World War II on the German werewolves. So it's my historical fiction cryptid horror that I wrote. That's a prequel to my saga Grimsons, which is historical fiction cryptid horrors as well. So that one should be coming out on audio here soon. The gentleman's working on it now, and hopefully I don't have troubles like I did last time. So that's pretty much where you can find me. I'm on Rumble. I'm on TikTok. I'm on a lot of different stuff. Although TikTok is mainly used for advertising anymore. Cool. So that's about it.
Yeah. We're both on Rumble, actually. We're both on Rumble, and we're funny feeling that YouTube and Facebook are going to start censoring.
Yeah.
Us more because we're and Roxanne and at noon. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you very much for being here. Demaria, thank you for a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Thank you very much. Judy, it's been an awesome pleasure, seeing you in the chat. You know, you're all extended family. You're all extended family. Okay, so as my email in the chat, I check my email as much. A lot of times it takes a couple days for me to get to it, and let me see here. Let me type not. Just give me a shout. Or
Thank you
give
so
Eric
much.
a shout. He'll information.
Man, they're chopping you up bad, brother. Ida, thank you so much for the super sticker. You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Ida. Thank you very much.
So, man, they are chopping your internet.
Anyways, we will see everybody tomorrow morning, okay? 11 a.m. Eastern. Blessings to you. Watch your sick, because the world is starting to get crazy. Okay, really crazy. So be safe, everybody. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow morning, okay?
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.